Yes, go PG.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I'm Gopike, your host for today. On behalf of VHS Karnataka, very warm welcome to all the wonderful viewers for the 27th edition of Online Samvada. We had 26 episodes of Samvada from VHS Karnataka until now, including last Friday's enlightening session on yoga and meditation by Sri Varun Veers ji. We are in festival season today, wishing each and everyone very happy Makar Sankranti. On this auspicious occasion, blessings from Devi Devatas for happiness and goodness. In VHS Karnataka Online Samvada, we are concentrating on our ancient scripts to start with Dharmic Darshanas. Out of 6 darshanas we had covered yoga, nyaya by our esteemed Dharmic scholars. To continue on this parampara, today we will be covering Vedanta. To talk about this, we have special guest speaker Acharya Srinivas Kumar and assistant professor from from Manipal. Acharya Srinivas Kumar N is an assistant professor and heads the Department of Philosophy at MAHE, where he oversees an interdisciplinary research project, MAHE Mahabharata Computational Analysis using Sanskrit Computational Linguistics in Digital Humanities. He continues to serve the Jean Monnet Center of Excellence, Manipal Center for European Studies, Department of Languages, and Manipal University Press, along with DOP, since their inception. He pursues teaching and research in Indian discourse on ethics, epistemology, metaphysics, and linguistics. Acharya Srinivasa got his PhD in Nyaya, MA in Nyaya, Alankara, and Samskriti. Without any further ado, now I request Sri Acharya ji to enlighten us on Bharatiya Darshanas Vedanta. Please go ahead, Acharya ji. Thank you. Come in, please.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो नारायणं प्रियतमं मम सन्नमामि भूयात् तत्त्वविनिर्णयाय भगवान् आनन्दतीर्थो मुनिः प्रपञ्चय च पञ्चवरन् मम मनस्तमस्ताडय विश्वेशतीर्थाय नमो नमस्ते। जगदधिदैवं जगन्मातरं जगद्गुरुं तथैव प्राणादपि प्रेष्ठतमम् अस्मद्गुरुवरं हंसमध्वानुयायिनं पेजावर अधोक्षज पीठाधिष्ठितं श्री विश्वेशतीर्थ श्रीमच्चरणम् अभिवन्द्य तत्प्रीत्यै वाग्भिः ज्ञानानि यजेहम्। नारायण। I am Srinivasan Acharya. As introduced, I am an assistant professor and also I head the Department of Philosophy at Manipal University, known as MAHE Manipal, which is one of the institutions of eminence in India and also one of the leading private universities in India, where we conduct courses on Indian philosophy, Sanskrit studies. We offer master's program in Indian philosophy and Sanskrit studies, where students from around the world, including India and abroad, do study. Also, we conduct courses on ethics and epics and Bhagavad Gita, and we also conduct research on Mahabharata. It is known as Mahe Mahabharata computational analysis, as said, using computational linguistics, Sanskrit computational linguistics. So those who are interested to know about it, they can search Google mahabharata.manipal.edu. Now, I am here to present my thoughts on Vedanta, on the pursuit of wisdom. So, in this 45-minute lecture, I would be covering on what are Vedas and Vedanta, the history and highlights of Vedanta, the foundations and concerns of Vedanta, and what is the path of action and wisdom as explained in the Vedanta text. How do we become Vedantin and the fruits of Vedanta? First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the National President of the Virat Hindustan Sangam, the General Secretaries, the National Vice Presidents, the State Presidents, and the conveyors, and all the VHS members who are present in this event, and the members of the VHS around the world. I am I consider it a privilege to be a part of this Samvada, a VHS Karnataka initiative today on the holy occasion of Makara Sankramana. So at the outset, I would like to express the greetings, Makara Sankramana greetings to all who are present here. Happy Makara Sankramana. Pongal Tirunal Nalvaltu. Makara Sankramana Parvanaha Shubhakamanaha. At the beginning, I would like to say how am I eligible to speak on Vedanta? It is very important in the Shastra Parampara that we remember our gurus who have bestowed the knowledge to speak on this topic. I studied for 15 years in Purna Prajna Vidyapita Vedanta Gurukula and Sanskrit College, established by Pedavara Swamiji, who is no more, who passed away 2 years ago. Vishwesha Tirtha Swamiji, Parama Pujya Vishwesha Tirtha Swamiji. In his Gurukula, I studied for 15 years Indian philosophy and Sanskrit studies, where I also did my Vidwan Madhyama and Vidvaduttama, also known as Shastri and Acharya, that is BA and MA in Nyaya, and I also did study on MA in Alankara and Sanskrit as told, and I also completed Vidya Varidhi PhD in Nyaya. And in the same institution, I studied along with Nyaya, I also studied Dvaita Vedanta. After that, I joined a Vedanta center that was established with the funding of European Union, interestingly. There was a philosophy center in Manipal University, Dvaita Philosophy Resource Center, which later, over a decade, was recognized as a philosophy college. Now I am heading it, Department of Philosophy. See, an interesting thing, a Vedanta center is funded by European Union, which is a political organization, which has nothing to do, which is a secular organization, has nothing to do with India. And it was funded for 2 years, and I joined in 2011. After that, the Manipal University, after the funding period, it continued to support, and we have been bringing out a book a year on Indian philosophy and Sanskrit studies, translated into English and other languages. Kannada text translated into Sanskrit, Sanskrit text translated into Kannada and other languages, English and so on, by acclaimed scholars who are traditional scholars also. And we are also conducting courses, as I said. Now, this is my background, eligibility. Why I said this is because in Shastra there is something called Anubandha Chatushtaya. Four Anubandhas, Chatushtaya, four Anubandhas. That is Vishaya, Adhikari, Prayojana, Sambandha. If it is not there, that Shastra is Anupadeya. We are not supposed to enter into that Shastra. So Shastra Samvada, if I have to be an Adhikari, not to listen, but also to speak, I need to know. I need to say, who am I? This question, who am I, is a very important question. It's not just a question that speaks about the identity that I have acquired over in this life. See, this question, who am I, only did not only bother the Western philosophers, it has bothered Indian philosophers. The Advaita Vedanta, which considers four Mahavakyas, Chatvari Mahavakyani. The four Mahavakyas, out of the two Mahavakyas, all the four Mahavakyas, but also importantly two Mahavakyas that are Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. These two Mahavakyas importantly speak about this question, who am I? Who is this I? So I spoke with pride, Garva, that I am Srinivasa and Acharya, I have done this, I have studied here and all. Is that me? I will tell you very interesting thing. We might speak that we have become professors, doctors, engineers, a lot of identities that we would like to present. All these identities is not us. The Vedanta speaks about the point of Vedanta. What is Vedanta? The point of Vedanta is this. Who are you? Shvetaketu, the son of Uddalaka, comes with pride, Garva. I have studied this in this Gurukula. I know this. I know all the Shastras. So the Upanishad goes like this. He speaks, I am this, that, and all. Uddalaka says, who are you? The same question. Then, several times, he has been asked to rediscover who is he. The point of Vedanta. Upanishad means Vedanta. The term Vedanta means Upanishad. Vedasya antaha. But what happens, many of the modern scholars, Western scholars, not only the Western scholars, even Indian scholars, have translated Vedanta as anta means end. Veda means Veda text. So the Vedanta means the end of Vedas, the last section of Vedas. That is not the translation that is appropriate. It is also a translation, but that is not the 100% accurate translation. Why? Anta here does not only mean end. It means the quintessence of Vedas. Quintessence of Vedas. Vedanta means the quintessence of Vedas. Vedasya Saraha. What is the Veda Sara? This is where two schools of thought in the Indian philosophical schools of thought, in the Sanskrit philosophy, two schools of thought, they diverge. One says Veda focuses on the path of action, karma marga. Another school says Veda focuses on the path of wisdom, jnana marga. We are going to speak on Vedanta, the jnana marga. If I have to split the entire Indian philosophy, it always ends in Dvaita, dual, two. One section says we cannot believe in Veda as Pramana. It is, Veda may be literature, Veda may be great literature, but it is not Pramana. Veda is apramana. Charvaka, Jaina, Bauddha, and so on. Another school says Veda is pramana. Again, in Veda, those who believe Veda as pramana, there is two. One say Veda is paurusheya, personal, the gospel of the God. Another says Veda is apaurusheya, impersonal, no purusha. No purusha is there behind the Vedas. Even the God is not there behind the Vedas. Vedas is not created, composed by the God. Then what is the role of the Supreme Being, the Parabrahma, the Paramatma, the Ishvara, the Sarvagnya? Veda is given by the God, not created by the God. Veda is authorless, apaurusheya, impersonal. Knowledge is impersonal. Wisdom is impersonal. No one can patent knowledge. No one can hold proprietorship of knowledge. Veda is apaurusheya. Again, in those who believe in Veda apaurusheya, there are also two. One is those who believe Veda as karma para. Veda only speaks about action. You do this, you do that, you do the Vedic rituals. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Not this Brahmana is not this community caste, Varna Brahmana, Varna Jati Brahmana. No. Brahmana means text. The Samhita text speaks about, Veda has split our life into four aspects. The first 25 years, the second 25 years, the third 25 years, and the fourth 25 years. The first 25 years, until we do, if we go to Gurukula at the age of 10, after Upanayana, 9 to 11, Upanayana happens. Vedadikara, we get Vedadikara. After that, we go to Gurukula. Our study will be around 15 years in Gurukula. So 25 when we finish our study. So the first 25 years, Samhita speaks about how should we study, how should we become a student. Yajnavalkya Smriti also speaks about at the beginning, how should we live a Gurukula life, how should we be a Brahmachari, a celibate, a bachelor, hold a bachelor's degree. After that, 25 years, Brahmana means householder. The Brahmana text speaks about how should we have a householder's responsibility. Grihastha dharma, Garhastya is a very important dharma because it speaks about not only a responsibility of becoming marriage, but also, as Upanishad Vedanta says, Acharyaya priyam dhanamahritya prajatam tum ma vyavacchetsihi. After completing your studies, completion of your studies, do not stop your lineage. The lineage is both the biological lineage, marry and continue your life. Also, it's not just merely marital life. It is also speaking about intellectual lineage. Whatever you have acquired, the jnana, the Vedanta, Veda jnana, that you have to complete, transcend, transform, transfer to the world. And then the third life, after 50 years, now 60 years we retire in the public life. But after 50 years, the next 25 years, when we have Shakti, not once we are done with all the Shaktis, we have to retire. No. Then we have Shakti, we have to go Vanaprastha, the life of retirement. Aranyaka, the life. It is not exactly Aranyaka means go to forest. It is also, there is a concept of Upavana, Vana and all in Shastra. Go to the outskirts of city. Come away from all these radiations. Come away from all this pollution. Live a life that is very close to nature. The one that Vidura emphasizes in Mahabharata, in Ashramavasika Parva. After that, the last 25 years is also dedicated for Turiya Avastha, Sannyasa. Honestly speaking, not once I am done with the whole Many a times this happens, and this is a practice that is also held by many institutions in India, that once we are done with all we go to sannyas ashrama. But actually the Shastra says, Yada virakta purusha prajayate tadaiva sannyasa vidishrutau shrutah. Madhvacharya says this. When vairagya happens, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya and all took sannyasa in their early teens. The moment they become viragi, the moment they denounce the world, the moment they have nitya nitya vastu viveka jnana, what is permanent and what is impermanent, the moment they realize they have to take the path of Vedanta, ashrama, sannyasa ashrama. So Upanishad, the last section, so the first 75 years is about karmapara. The last 25 years or the entire life is Vedanta. What is Vedanta? Jnana. Arjuna, in Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 texts that are important, foundations of Vedanta. The one who has written commentary, Bhashya, on these 3 texts is called Acharya. Here, Acharya, mine, is a surname. I have not written commentaries on those Prasthanatraya, the schools, 3 schools of Vedanta. Prasthana means school, scholarship, school, scholastic tradition. I have not written Vyakhyana in those. It is my father is Acharya for somewhat reason, and my family, entire family is Acharya for somewhat reason. But Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya did not get Acharya like I got, which is meaningless in my case, mechanical in my case. And even if I have studied Vedanta, I cannot become Acharya because I have not written commentary. I don't have that scholarship, profound scholarship to write commentaries on Vedanta texts. The one who has written commentary on these prasthanas, they are considered Acharya. Upanishad prasthana, the Upanishads are many, more than 100, but the Pradhana Upanishads are 10. The 7 ones are smaller ones, the last 3 ones are bigger ones. Shankaracharya also has written on Shvetashvatara Upanishad, another one. So the important ones are 10, the very important ones. Upanishad Prasthana, Upanishad school, because it is means, Upanishad means Vedanta, the quintessence of Veda. Vedasya Antaha means Upanishad. Vedasya Saraha, the essence of Veda. And what is the essence of Upanishad? Is Bhagavad Gita. Sarvopanishado gavaha dugda gopala nandaraha gavo vatsaha sudhir bhokta dugdam gitamratam mahat. Sarvopanishado gavaha dugdam gitamratam mahat. Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad is the cow, the sacred holy cow, and the milk of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad is Bhagavad Gita. The essence of Upanishad is Bhagavad Gita. Also, Bhagavad Gita is not only the essence of Upanishad, it is also the essence of the 5th Veda, Panchama Veda. There are 4 Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. Veda, Rigveda means the Veda that is in the form of Padya, poetry. That is Rigveda. The Yajurveda, the Veda that is in form of prose, Gadya, is Yajurveda. The Veda that is in form of music, melody, song, Sama, Gana, Samaveda. The Veda that is in form of Champu, prose verse, Padya Gadya, prose and verse, that is called Atharva Veda. So there is Rig Samhita, Yajur Samhita, Sama Samhita, Rig Brahmana, Yajur Brahmana, Sama Brahmana, Rigaranyaka, Yajuraranyaka, Samaranyaka, Rugopanishad, Yajuropanishad, Samapanishad, Atharvopanishad. So all Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, that is in all these 4 Vedas. The 5th Veda is Itihasa Purana. Itihasa means Ramayana and Mahabharata. Purana, all the 18 Puranas and other Upapuranas written by Vedavyasa. So, the Vedas that are given by Hayagriva to Brahma and the Brahma has given to the Parampara, these were in the form of Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. In the Dwapara Yuga, in the 28th Dwapara Yuga, Vedavyasa edited the Veda, Veda Vyasa, the editor of Vedas, the compiler of Vedas. He made them in 4 sections, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. He split them and made them in Yajurveda, Rigveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. And we cannot understand Vedas. We do not have Adhikara for Vedas. We are lay people. So what we are supposed to do? We are Brahma Bandhus. We have swerved away from the path of Dharma and Niti. So what we are supposed to do? So Vedavyasa saw us, for us, he wrote Itihasa Purana to understand Veda, to understand Vedanta. What is that? Veda concepts are metaphysical in nature, transcendental in nature. They are speaking about something alaukika, paralaukika, parabhotika that we cannot see. It is not physical, it is metaphysical. Atma, can someone show Atma? No, it is metaphysical, it is beyond physics, physical realm, physical sciences. So it is metaphysics after physics, as Aristotle says. So how can we understand Vedanta? So Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabrahmayet Vivekyalpashrutat Vedaha Mamayam Prachalishyati. The person who does not know the language of Veda, Itihasa Purana, Veda, Itihasa Purana, should never attempt to read Vedas, because Vedas are scared. Shankara Ramanuja Madhva says, quote, Vedas are scared that this person, without reading Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata and Ramayana, is attempting to read me, Veda. This person is going to violate me, manipulate me, spoil me. So we should read Ramayana, Mahabharata first and then attempt to read Vedas. Because Mahabharata and Ramayana and Puranas, the Indian epics, they are basically, if someone wants to call it Indian epics, Indian classics, Sanskrit epics, Sanskrit classic, mythology, whatever, Itihasa Purana is the Sanskrit term for them. If the one who wants to read that, that is the essence of Vedanta. The condensed version, Shastreshu Bharatam Saraha. Bharatam Sarva Shastreshu, Mahabharata and is considered the essence of Shastra, Vedanta Shastra. It speaks through the lives of Rama and Krishna and other characters, the narratives. It speaks through their life what we are supposed to do. I know I have very less time, but there is a lot to speak. I will tell you one simple thing about what Mahabharata and Ramayana and how we can understand. If we are in this era, I am having a conversation through this VHS portal with all of you. We have GPS, thanks to René Descartes, 16th century French mathematician and philosopher, who found GPS, geographical coordinates. Actually, geographical coordinates were found even before him by different parts of different civilizations, but the way he structured it mathematically, he gets the maximum credit. But imagine this and all Google Maps, all this works in 21st century, 20th century. But we are speaking about Rama. In traditional calculation, it's very difficult to say Rama, how old was Rama. Rama lived in 24th Treta Yuga. After that, Itihasa Purana says 24th Chaturvimshe Tretayam Ramaha Avatatar. Ashtavimshe Dwapare Krishna Avatatar. So after Chaturvimsha, 24th Treta Yuga, 24th Dwapara Yuga, 24th Kali Yuga, then 25th Krita Treta Dwapara Kali Yuga, 26th Krita Treta Dwapara Kali, 27th, 28th Vedavyasa and Krishna lived. And in the Kali Yuga that we live, in this Kali Yuga, in the same Kali Yuga, Krishna lived for 20. In the same 28th Kali Yuga, Krishna lived for 36 years, 6 months. The moment Duryodhana fell, Samarabdam Kaliyugam Yada Duryodhano Patat Mahabharata says, the moment Duryodhana was beaten, the moment Duryodhana fell down, Kaliyuga started. After that, Krishna lived for 36 years, 6 months. That is why we celebrate Krishnashtami in more grandeur. We also do fasting. Is basically because Krishna is so close to us in times of life. But modern scholars, Western scholars, Indian scholars fight that Rama was, some people do not consider Rama as a historical character. Some people consider Rama as a historical character. So even those who believe in Hinduism as a religion and follow, they also, not just the traditional world, they also say Rama must be somewhere around 5 to 10,000 years ago. There is a lot of scientific bias that whatever the modern science is considered, we somewhere try to map everything around this, whatever is called as the era of Christ or common era. The traditional scholars believe in a different timeline. It's very difficult to exactly pinpoint, scientifically accurately pinpoint how do we understand this timeline. It's very difficult. Now, this life that Rama lived, imagine Rama was around 15 to 20 when he got married. I am taking all the scholars, whether traditional scholars or modern scholars or Western scholars or Indian scholars, irrespective of anyone. I'm taking everyone into hold and then speaking, trying to consolidate their views and present them. Rama married around 15 to 20 years and then he lived with Sita happily in Maharashtra for around 13 years and then lost Sita in the last year. So he did not have any clue about Sita for the first 6 months. Later, through Hanuman, he got to know where is Sita located. And Rama, Sita, for 14 years they traveled, 13 years they traveled in the dense forest, jungle. If someone who lives in Udupi, Manipal, Udupi, the citadel of Dvaita Vedanta, if you travel from here to Kudremukh, Kalasa, for around 20 kilometers in the forest area, like that entire Western Ghat, many other places, Vindhya and other Himalayas, you can travel for 100 kilometers. There is no internet, no network, no human. Imagine we are speaking about, according to some calculations, 10,000 years ago. According to some calculation, 24th Treta Yuga. Rama and Sita lived like humans. They did not display extraordinary talent all the time. If not, Rama wouldn't have lost Sita. They traveled, Sita traveled, Rama traveled across India. In that, no one is there. If you travel, there is no one in the, even in 21st century, this is the situation of many parts of the world and many parts of India. In that time, Valmiki is able to say where is in what place. That is the geographical knowledge that Valmiki has presented us through in Ramayana and Valmiki. What is the point of these texts? Even after losing Sita, today if we have lost someone, our wife, husband, whatever, partner, friend, colleague, parents, after a while, we will say where we can find, we will leave. It's a reality. But Rama showed, Madhvacharya says in his Vedanta text, Mahabharata Tatparyanaya, he says, what is the point of, what is Veda Dharma? What is Vedanta? Vedanta Dharma. It is Martyavataras-tviha Martya Shikshanam Rakshobadayaiva na kevalam vibhoho. If God has to kill Ravana, he doesn't have to come here. He can kill from there. Some people do not believe in them as God. Some people, even if someone who does not believe them in God. whether we believe them in God or not, their talent is extraordinary. That is how the literature has presented. Let's assume that they are God. If they have incarnated as humans, what is the point of incarnation, even from a religion point of view, even from the Sanatana Dharma point of view? Their, their life is to tell us how we are supposed to live a life. When we lose someone, how we are supposed to live. Entire Ramayana is about how I am supposed to live. So that is why in entire Ramayana, there is nowhere Rama swerves away from the path. He always follows the rule. Krishna breaks and bends the rule because the Mahabharata is not around Krishna, it is around Pandavas. So, whenever it is the other, how the Dharma has to be followed, these are told in Veda, but we can't understand. So, for us, Itihasa Purana is in the form of narrative so that we can understand them through the form of narrative. That is the point of Itihasa Purana. And the third text, that is, how do we understand Upanishad, the foundation text? We understand Upanishad through Brahma Sutras. Jaimini, the Vyasa's disciple, wrote on Purva Mimamsa, Samhita Brahmana Aranyaka, the Karma path. Veda Vyasa, his guru, Jaimini's guru, he wrote commentary, aphorism. He wrote aphorism, sutra, Brahma Mimamsa Sutra, Shariraka Mimamsa Sutra, Mimamsa Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is very, very important. What is the point of Brahma Sutra? To understand Upanishad. See, Veda we can't understand. How do we understand? We have to understand it through Upanishad. Upanishad also we can't understand. We have to understand it through Brahma Sutra, the second important text of Vedanta. Brahma Sutra also we can't understand. So Vedavyasa was so confused what to do. Then he wrote Mahabharata and other Puranas for us to understand Vedanta. So these are the foundation texts of Vedanta. There have been many scholars who have interpreted Vedanta. The Western scholars and the modern scholars have this strong critique of Indian philosophy is a dead philosophy. Darshana is a dead one. After 14th to 15th century or after medieval era, if one calculates timeline like that, after 10th to 15th century, there first 10 centuries in the common era, there has been good production in Sanskrit literature and in philosophical texts and literary texts. 10th to 15th, it has been good again, but other languages also have come up. After 15th century, particularly once European settlements came to India, there has been a decline. And in the 18th and 19th century, the Western scholars were intrigued. They came to India for a different reason, economic reason, political reason. But they were surprised that the civilization was so different. They did not assume that people can live such a dharmic life in a very different sense. And they started reading Sanskrit, and they have done really a good job, but also they have also done a very bad job. They have done both good job and bad job. So they started establishing Sanskrit departments and all in the West, but they later realized after 18th, 19th century, 20th century, Sanskrit people are doing nothing. Indian people are doing nothing. Hindu people are doing nothing. They are just having, they are speaking India is great. India has everything. Sanskrit is great. Sanskrit has everything. What is it today? How it is relevant today? Honestly speaking, I come from Gurukula. The amount of work that has to be done is Meru Parvatakara. It's like Meru Parvata. But the amount of work that is being done today by the Sanskrit traditional scholars, all of us, is only in the form of Sarshapa, that is mustard, right? That's all we are able to do. All of us have the collective responsibilities, not only the responsibility of the Sanskrit scholars. Each and every one, if someone wants to claim that they are Hindus, if the person has not read Sanskrit, that person cannot claim they are Hindus. There are many, several organizations. Samskrita Bharati is one such organization. Central Sanskrit Universities, there it has 14 Sanskrit campuses, 81 affiliate Sanskrit institutes in India which are offering Sanskrit courses online and offline. Manipal University is doing Sanskrit courses offline and online. Spoken Sanskrit and written Sanskrit, conversational Sanskrit and textual Sanskrit. People have to take up these courses anywhere in the world, anywhere in India, offline or online, and have to read Sanskrit. Gradually, there is a criticism that Veda Sanskrit is not doing anything. But honestly speaking, these Vedanta texts, Brahma Sutra text has been commented by, I'm not going to name all of them, 39 scholars, more than 39 scholars. We know 39 people. Shankaracharya was around 19th. Ramanujacharya was around 2021st. Madhvacharya was around 22nd. After that, even after Madhvacharya, 13th century, 39 scholars, even today in 21st century, the scholar, the saint of Akshara in Delhi and Gujarat, has written a commentary on this Prasthana Traya, the texts that have been commented by Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya. The Swami's name is Sadhu Bhadresha Dasa Swami, the head of the Akshardham Swami Narayana Samstha, Bocha Sanvasi Swami Narayana Akshardham Samstha, Akshara Purushottama Samstha, has written Prasthanatraya commentary. This is a living testimony to say Sanskrit traditions are not dead. Because even today in the 21st century, there are commentaries on Sanskrit, on this Prasthanatraya Vedanta text. I have just 5 more minutes. So, if you want me to wind up in 5 minutes, I would be able to wind up.
No,
Or if you want me to continue.
you can continue. Acharya, you can continue.
Oh,
I mean, another 10,
oh,
15 minutes, right? You can please.
okay. So, what is Vedanta? What is the point of Vedanta? We have to understand Bhagavad Gita. See, Bhagavad Gita is a text. There are many translations that are available of Bhagavad Gita. There is IIT, like Manipal University is doing this Mahabharata research, Mahe Mahabharata. Like that, IIT Kanpur also has done Gita Super Site. You can find almost all commentaries and translations of Gita and commentaries in English, Sanskrit, and Hindi in Gita Super Site of IIT Kanpur. And they also have included Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana in that website. Bhagavad Gita we have to read. There are courses that are offered by many institutes in India, even Oxford, their Center for Hindu Studies. See, one thing we have to remember, whenever we go to some scholar, whether it be me, I'm not a scholar, I'm just a lifelong learner. My gurus are scholars. Even if we go to a traditional scholar, or if we go to a modern scholar, a Western scholar, any source, you have to question them. You cannot take things for granted. That is not accepted in Vedanta system. Anyone presents any view, you have to question. So if you read translation, be a skeptic and then read translation. Try to be genuine, unlearn whatever bias you have, learn it genuinely, and then question it whatever you learn. That is what Bhagavad Gita says, Pariprashnena Sevaya. There is one translation that has been done by Dr. Vivek Debra. Shri Vivek Debra is the current economic the chairperson of the EPAC, Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India. So Vivek Debra has translated Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and others. They have been published by Penguin Books. That translation is one of the recent translations that you can refer to, because other translations like Kisori Mohan Ganguly in English and Manmatanath Datta and all are of little old English. So it might be difficult for us to understand. So Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what is Vedanta? What is Vedasya Antaha? Vedasya Antaha is this. It is not about, I will tell you one story which will speak about Hindu system, Hinduism as a religion. See, if we are comfortable using the word Hindu, we can also be comfortable using the word India, because neither this word Hindu nor the word India is comes from Sanskrit. The people who lived on the banks of Sindhu, from Sindhu to Brahmaputra, even further, or from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Actually, this is not India. Okay, this is an India that we know from 1947. The real India is the entire South Asia: India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, even to an extent Maldives, even to an extent Burma, even to an extent Afghanistan, even to an extent Tibet, even to an extent Persia or Iran, even to the parts of Central Asia, the complete South Asia, that is why it's called Indian subcontinent, and parts of Southeast Asia up to Bali, it was India. Because if you see in Ramayana, there are these places are being told. That is why we can see Ramayana's influence even in East Asia, even in Southeast Asia. So India, the way we understand Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Sindhu to Brahmaputra, is a very modern understanding. India is very big. Okay, so this Bharatam was by the Persians, where they could not say the word Hindu, they said Hindu. And the British people could not say Hindu, they said Indus, Hindu. And then it became India. So Hindu or India, it's okay. This Sanatana Dharma, this Bharata, Vaidika Dharma, what it speaks of. If we have to understand the religion, we have to look at the Vedanta in this aspect. We know that I'll just set the timer for next more 13 more minutes. Okay, so Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, in the entire in the first 6 chapters is about jnana and karma. The second 6 chapters is all about Bhagavan, and then the last 6 chapters is about the universe. So it's about the path of action, the path of wisdom in the first 6 chapters. The second 6 chapter is the fruit of that action and wisdom, jnana yoga and karma yoga. Where it goes, it leads to Bhagavan. It leads to the supreme being, the ultimate destiny. And the last 6 chapters is about the universe. And the entire Bhagavad Gita is also a story of us. In this Vedanta text, we can understand what is Vedanta. We have to live a life, a moral life, an ethical life, a life where we don't consider I am this, I am that, with that pride, that is Darpa, that is Mada, that is an Arishad Varga. In Christianity also it's a wife. In Hinduism also it's a wife. Arishad Varga, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. In any religion, even in a modern ethical sense also it's a that over pride is not good for health. We have this, I am this, I am that and all. But honestly speaking, we are nothing. Why we are nothing? Aren't we something? Yes, we are something. See, if we are everything, we know everything, we have accomplished everything, how are we not able to be happy? Madhvacharya says, if there was no God, if there was no Hari, if there was no Supreme Being, how come the entire universe, the animate, inanimate, sentient, insentient, chetana, chetanatmaka, prapancha, universe is not independent, is dependent? If I have to operate the mobile phone, the inanimate object, I need chetana is needed. But if I have to converse with you, I need jada padartha. So, like a blind and a limb, andha pangu, we depend on jada, jada depends on chetana. We are dependent. But if we both have to come together, somewhere limb is somewhere, blind is somewhere. If they have to come together, there is the place for Guru who is the seer, the one who has seen. And that person brings us together. if we are not, if the entire universe, if it is not being, we would have been happy all the time. यदि नाम परो न भवेत हरिर कतमस्य वशे जगदे तदभूत यदि नाम नतस्य वशे सकलम कतमेव तु नित्य सुखम न भवेत. How can we not experience eternal bliss, happiness? Everyone has this desire for moksha, mukti, emancipation, liberation, salvation, freedom, liberty, whatever you want to translate. Nirvana, mukti, moksha. In Sanskrit also it has many names. In English and other languages also it has many names. How come? What is that? Anishta nivritti, ishta prapti. Retirement from all dislikes, engagement from all likes. Sukhameva mesya dukkam managapi mabhut. Let only happiness let I only experience happiness, and let there not be sadness even in thought. But this is not happening because we do not have tattva jnana, philosophy, love of wisdom, love of application of knowledge, love of application of justified true belief in the Western sense. But in Indian sense, tattva jnanat nishreyasadigamaha, tattva jnana we do not have. What is the tattva jnana? That we are dependent entities. There is something powerful, independent entity. The story of Vamana speaks very beautifully of Vedanta Tattva. What is that Vedanta Tattva? The principle of Vedanta? See, we go to temple and worship God in that temple. Honestly speaking, is that stone the God? That is wrong. Vedanta says, Brahma Sutra says, na pratike nahi saha. Idol is not God. So many people criticize Hindu system, Vedic system, for they are idolatry. They conduct idolatry. They worship idols. We do not worship idols. Na pratike nahi saha. We do not worship pratika. Pratikalambana means, pratikopasana means, we worship God in the idol. See, if I have to think about my ancestors, my forefathers and foremothers and my elders, I have not seen many of them. So how do I know? How do I know historical people that they existed? I know them. If I have to conceive them, I need some form, like photo, image. So sometimes we can, if we have technology, or if we don't have technology, we have an artist and we draw them. So we can conceive them. Oh, this is how they were. But is that photo my ancestor? That photo is the photo depiction of the ancestor. That photo is not the ancestor. That photo can't walk. Idols are not God. We see God in the idol. That is why God, Vishnu, in his Vamana Avatara, came in the form of idol. But what happens? We only get immersed in the idol worship. We think that idol is the God. And my Guruji, Piravar Swamiji, Vishweshatirtha Swamiji, used to say there is a major threat in this approach. What is the problem? We, like in some religions, the idea of confession exists. We do puja early morning, evening, or 3 times a day, and lock the God in the box or in the God's room, Devara Kone, and think whatever anyaya, adharma, aniti we do here, God can't see us. What kind of dharma is this? That is why Vamana, when he came in the small idol form, Vamana means dwarf, small. He came and he said, see, don't assume that I am only this much. Vamana became Trivikrama in Tirukovilur in Tamil Nadu, in Ulagananda Perumal Kovil. You can see Vamana becoming Trivikrama. So, it is not, that is why we say in Kannada, Murti Chikkadadaru, Kirti Doddadu. It's not small idol. It grew to grandeur. The god with his 3 feet, he asked for 3 feet. Bali thought, what this small fellow is going to ask? 3 feet. Okay, take it. But he kept 1 feet in the ether, in the nether worlds. All the worlds below, Adoloka, was covered. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. All the 7 lobes were full. Another feet. All these are all for us to understand what is Vedanta Tattva. These stories. Then he put another leg above. It might be history, it might be fact. It's not. We are not denying the part that it's not historical or factual. But more than that part, the hidden message is very important in Vedanta. That is what Vedanta says. Purana says, I am not Itihasa, history. I am Purana. I am old, Pura, but Nava, new. I am always, I have value. Other nether worlds is done, now ether worlds. All the above loka. Bhurbhuva Swaha, Maho Janaha, Tapo Satyam. All this. Bhuhu Bhuvaha Swaha, Maha Janaha, Tapaha Satyam. All the lokas above. He covered. What does this mean? This is what Vedanta says. Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. The person is the real Vedantin. The one who thinks, whether you believe in God, it does not matter. See, the Hindu system, Vedic system is such a system that it also holds the people who do not believe in God. It says we can have alternate interpretation. I don't have time for alternate interpretation. It's a very big topic. You see God in me. Not only in an idol, not only we do puja in the morning and then do all anyaya in the evening. No. You have to see God everywhere. Prati stitam with Vishnum Nityamrita Manamayam. Every entity. God is there in Trina, in a grass. Anurenu Trinamatradali Govinda. He is in an atom and he is in a grass and he is in the mountain and he is in the entire universe. He occupied the entire universe. He pervaded the entire universe. So it's not only God is in there in the temple. He is there in me. Even whatever you consider disgusting thing, abusive word, even in that God exists. God exists everywhere. There is no space. That is what Kanakadasa's story is all about. When his guru gives him banana, he says, I could not eat because Guru told, eat in the place where there is no one. No one sees you. He said, how can I eat this banana? Because there is everywhere God. So whatever we do, we speak, whatever I'm speaking is also in this speech, in this, everywhere God is there. That is why Hindu system worships everything. You have, if I want to put it in a very modern sense, monkey God, elephant God, snake God, lion God, horse God, everything is God. Why? Because God exists in each and every entity. It's not what the Western philosopher Benedict D'Souza spoke of pantheism. I'm not speaking in that sense. So that's not the concern of Hindu system. Hindu system is different. So everywhere God is. So that is the second Vedanta Tattva. What is the final Vedanta Tattva? God is not, so we understand everywhere is God, but God is also in you. That is why after his 2 feet were kept everywhere, God kept the third feet on Bali, Vamana. God kept the third feet on Bali. What is it sees? Do not just see God elsewhere, also see in you. Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani chatman. This is the wisdom. This wisdom, this is application of knowledge. This knowledge gained through Shastras. So we cannot understand Vedas if we don't study Itihasa Purana. We cannot understand Itihasa Purana, we don't study Sanskrit. We can take help of translation. You take Kannada, you take Tamil, Tulu, Malayalam, Konkani, Marathi, Bangla, any Indian language, but we cannot understand them as the original are. I do not believe in this philosophy that Sanskrit text cannot be translated. See, I have problems with translation. If there is Panchamrita Abhisheka Snana Seva, it's very difficult to translate this term. I had when I was taking a Western person to a temple, I had difficulty translating this. But at the same time, I don't have to do literal translation. Pizza, burger, sandwich cannot be translated literally even in other European languages. But you can do a conceptual translation. There is no only one way of translation. Shastra speaks of Anuvada. Anuvada is not Bhashantara, as Professor N.T. Bhatt has written in his book. So we can read them through translation. It's important that we read translation, but we have to read as Vedanta says, Tantrasara Sangraha says, Satatam Shastra Vimarshena Bhavishyati Sakshatkaraha. The enlightenment, the path of wisdom is that through Shastra Vimarsha, Pariprashnena Sevaya. Krishna says, how do I attain Jnana? Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham Pavitra Miha Vidyate Tatsvayam Yoga Samsiddhaha Kalena Atmani Vindati. Jnana, I know that I have exceeded 2 minutes, I'll just take 1 minute and conclude. Jnana is the most sacrosanct in this entire universe, in this entire world. Knowledge, wisdom that you get through Paravidya, the metaphysical knowledge, the transcendental spiritual knowledge, and the material knowledge, the worldly knowledge, the knowledge that you get through worldly sciences, the science, technology, management, and other arts, all the disciplines. This is Aparavidya, Laukika Vidya. This is also important. Paravidya, Dve Vidya Veritavye Parachaiva Paracha. Both Vidyas are important. But after this Jnana, we have to have Bhakti. Bhakti means unconditional love. Mahatmya Jnana Purvastu Sudradaha Sarvatodikaha Sneho Bhakti Riti Proktaha. Like Bali submitted himself to Vamana, we have to submit ourselves to the supreme truth, the cosmic truth, the divine wisdom, the form of knowledge. See, Hindu system is not speaking about the God only in the form of 4 hands, 10 hands, 20 heads, 30 heads, 1000 heads. These are all pratika, only for us to conceive. According to Vedanta, Vedanta says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Truth is Brahma, God. Jnana is God. Anantam, infinite, infinity is God. What is God? Sadguna is God. Good quality is God. Whether you believe in God or not, whether we believe in religion or not, who does not want to have a good quality? Is there a person who wants to be immoral, unethical in their life? This is the only religion. That is why Swami Vivekananda, his birthday, his day we celebrated recently, spoke of this, the religion that spoke of this kind of religion. God is nothing but goodness, virtue. And Vedanta, the Navya Vedanta, the Neo Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda, and the Vedanta that has been propagated, proposed by Shankara Ramanuja Madhva in the line of Veda Vyasa is such that God follow the Supreme Being. What is Supreme Being? Truth is Supreme Being. Wisdom is Supreme Being. And I am so happy to see that VHS in their motive, they say how to achieve balance in life of materialism and spiritualism. This is the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says in the 6th chapter at the beginning, entire 2nd chapter, when they are speaking about the life of equanimity, the theory of equanimity, Sthita Prajna, the one who is balanced, equipoised between not just spiritualism but also materialism. Upanishad, the Vedanta says this. You have to have a balanced path between these two. Live in this life. Ishavasyopanishad says this. You have to live here. You cannot commit suicide. Arjuna was about to commit suicide. Krishna said, stopped him and said, live a balanced life. Like the motive of VHS says, live a balanced life. Such a thoughtful motive. And this is what Krishna says, you follow the path of action, you follow the path of wisdom. You will come to me at the end of the day. What I am? I am the form of everything that you consider good, wise, moral, ethical, divine. And I have tried my best, though the topic is a little very general, at the same time very profound. I have tried to speak about what is Veda and Vedanta, and though I could not touch a lot on history, but I have tried to highlight the Vedanta, the foundations and the concerns of Vedanta, the path of action and wisdom, and how do we become Vedantin? It's not only by attending Gurukula system. It's about living an ethical life, a moral life, a life where uh, dharma is this: whatever you are ready to do yourself, whatever you want to do for yourself, that you consider you it's not harmful, that is dharma. And that life we have to live. So, in this Samvada is a very important philosophical concept, that the title that you have given to this discussion. Samvada means Samana Visheka Manantara, corroboration. Samvada is very important in Darshana system because it's not about one school of thought. Samana Visheka Manantara, what other schools of thought also speaks. There is a lot to speak about Indian Darshana system and the Vedanta system and Indian philosophy. I hope all of you do not stop in this Samvada, but take it up as one of VHS motif also speaks about promote Sanskrit as the universal link language. You all read Sanskrit, spoken Sanskrit and written Sanskrit, and then take this the journey of this the balanced journey between materialism and spiritualism to a great height, and live that kind of life as Sanatana Dharma, Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat, Nabruyat, Satyam Priyam, Priyam, and Anratam Bruyat, Satyesha Dharma Sanatana. It's not only about rituals, it's a life. It's not religion. Hinduism is not religion. Hinduism is a way of life. So there are many illustrious people who have lived, and even today they are living in different forms, in the forms of saints. Uh, so we live uh, in those paths, a life of ethical life, moral life. Do not harm anyone in the name of religion, in the name of politics, in the name of anything. Only fight for the peace, the universal peace. And as Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and the entire Vedanta, the main concern of Vedanta is Shanti. That is why Mahabharata's rasa is Shantarasa. So we take, I have exceeded my time limit 25 minutes, though I started my lecture at somewhere around 8:15. In that sense, I have done only 1 hour lecture, but even though in the time I have exceeded, but I am open for question and answer. I conclude by मत्प्रेरकेण हरिणा या पूजा स्वस्य कारिता वाग्यज्ञरूपा लक्ष्मीशः तया प्रीणातु केशवः ज्ञानाब्धिरप्यवादीत्यत् कलत्वं स्वात्मनस्तदा मन्दानां मादृशानां किं तं वाच्यं क्षाम्यन्तु बुधाः. Krishnarpanamastu. I might have done a lot of mistake in interpreting, reinterpreting Vedanta. All the Vedanta Vedantins may forgive me if I have committed any form of mistake. Let the universe. My Guruji used to say this: Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. So let goodness and let happiness be everywhere. Thank you, Narayan.
Namaste, Srinivas ji. I thank you, my team, for this opportunity to put forward questions on behalf of viewers and myself. So, my first question is, how can Vedanta help a scientist who always believes in Prataksha, what he sees?
It's a very difficult question to answer. So, see, science The path of science is not to be neglected, because Shastra Veda, the term Veda means Vijnana, Veda means science, the term Veda means science, Vedanta means the essence of science. There are not only one way of science. The problem with the modern day, what happens, they say there is only one way of science. That is the empirical way of science. There is also a non-empirical way of science. In the Darshana system, they have this epistemological question. That is, see, we can't test everything. And even if we can test everything, what we do, we live our life certain times in a hypothetical manner, because we reveal the truth over a period of time. Many a time these hypothesis fails, many a times it succeeds. None of us, I have not seen who my parents are. To be honest, at the age of 6, I knew who my parents are. I was born in Bangalore, like Krishna was born in Mathura and was taken to Gokula and was born with Yashoda and Nandagopa. I was taken to Chennai when I was a small child, and I was groomed by my foster parents, who happened to be my uncle and aunt in English. In English, there is everything uncle and aunt, Dodappa and Dodama. After I came back from Chennai, I realized who my real parents are. But now I have a doubt who my real parents are. They are they. How do I know? I have never conducted a DNA test to test who my real parents are. No one conducts. Everyone has this faith in certainty. Even science has some kind of faith. Sir John Woodruff, Arthur Avalon, has written in his introduction to Tantra Shastra. He lived his most part of life as an Indian monk in Kolkata. He has written a lot of text. He says, only because we have discovered certain things in today for maybe 200 years, 400 years, we can't say one civilization that has lived for more than a millennia, we can't say that all the generation in horizontal axis and y-axis across time and across space, that all of them are dumb. Or there was no smart people, only today's people are smart people. We can't say this. He says these today's Indian generation, the Manasaputras of English, he is a Western scholar, he became Indian and he became Hindu, and he smirks at modern Indians and says that they have not invested 10 years, 20 years. They have invested decades and centuries and millennia in identifying the truth. Even today they have the debate, because they know there is one Sat, Ekam Sat, Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. But how do we understand? We cannot just go by the empirical way, because many things have not been discovered by one scientist from Nicholas Copernicus. Today, it is not discovered by one scientist. There have been multiple people who have tried to discover the truth. We have to listen to their words. What we are doing here, we are listening to the words of the seer. Rishi Parampara, Arsha Parampara, Vijnana Parampara, we are listening to them. Have everything been said by only Stephen Hawking or Carl Sagan or Richard Feynman? No. They are referring to the previous people. Or everything can be conducted empirically, tested empirically in one life? No, not by one person. There are millions of people whom we read. The language, written language and the spoken language becomes very important. The scientific language becomes very important. So more than testability by me, the subjective testability, the objective knowledge is attained by subjective knowledge. The people, different subjects, different scientists. Similarly, here there are so many Vedanta scholars, so many Rishi Parampara, who have tried to explain the truth. So there is not only one way, that is colonization, that is intellectual colonization, cognitive enslavement, telling my method is the only superior method, your method is an inferior method. This is another form of colonization. What we are supposed to do, we have to learn all the methods. That is why Upanishad says, don't discard, like VHS says. It is a balance between material realm and spiritual realm. You read Apara Vidya, like Bhagavad Gita only says, Adibhutam Sharo Bhavaha Purusha Chadi Daivatam. You also try to understand Bhuta Vidya and Parabhotika Vidya, Laukika Vidya and Alaukika Vidya. You have to read, you have to do the balance both. There are excellent Gurukulas and modern day Gurukulas. One Anandavana Purna Pramati school has an initiative in Bangalore, in Magadi, where they also teach for women. There is Shubham Karoti Maitreyi. So there are many, I am only naming a few, there are many in India and even abroad. There are many where they teach Paravidya and Aparavidya, Laukika Vidya and Alaukika Vidya, CBSE and Shastra, up from fifth grade. So these people, over a period of time, over 15 years, 20 years of their education, then they will be able to understand what is happening. Most of us, we do not know Shastras properly because we do not know Sanskrit. We do not have access. Only some of us who were blessed, who could read, write, and understand Sanskrit. Not everyone is that fortunate because they have their own life. But at the same time, we have that responsibility. If we are not able to do, if we are occupied, we have to ensure that our generation, future, have this access to both Laukika Vidya and Alaukika Vidya. Both are very important. This universe is a material world. It has to be understood. We have to know what is the clock's table. We have to understand these periodic elements. We have to understand nano world. We have to understand quantum science. But at the same time, we also have to understand that there is metaphysics, like Aristotle told. There is the world beyond this that we have to understand. We cannot just say we have seen everything. Then scientists themselves are committing one mistake. If they don't believe in what they have not seen, then how can they say what they have not seen does not exist? If I have not traveled Antarctica, doesn't mean Antarctica doesn't exist. What I have seen doesn't matter. What matters is the wisdom of the seer. So it matters the word of everyone. But we have to, that is why I said we have to unlearn everything, learn everything from fresh, but have to have faith, like Upanishad says. Yadeva vidya shraddhaya chopanishada karoti tadeva viryavattaram bhavati, like Chandogya Upanishad says. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, but to time extent, I cannot ask on that more. Okay, my second question is that how important is parampara system in our Vedic philosophy?
I lost somewhere. What is it? How important is?
A parampara system.
This I have already addressed in the lecture when I said Acharya Priyam Dhanama Hartya Prajatantum Mya Vyavachitsi. Western scholars are modern scholars. I am not biased against Western. All Western scholars are not bad. All Indian scholars are not good. Okay. Madhvacharya says Daurlabhya Chuddha Buddhinam Bahulya Dalpavedinam Duragraha Grihitatvat Vartante Samayasa. There are different kinds of people. Shankaracharya also has said the same. So the thing is that many of us who read a language through dictionary, that's a wrong way. It's important, but that's not the only way. So praja means it's not only about progeny, it's about intellectual progeny, intellectual lineage. What does that mean? Parampara, see, how do I know all these things? Because my guru taught me. So whatever I'm speaking here is not a single thing is mine. Everything what I have learned, I have shared it with you. So you will be sharing it with others, whether it is science or the spiritual science. Everything, whatever we get, is through parampara. Param, one. Param is another, other. Param is another, other, another. Parampara. So it goes from one another. How important is this? Is that if there was no parampara, we would have lost all these things. Even in science, if there was no parampara, scientific parampara, they would have lost everything. Anywhere it's important. That is why it is a balance between materialism and spiritualism. The balance is that whatever we learn, we have to share it with others. And the other can critique. See, Indian philosophy is so beautiful. It did not, because Charvaka spoke of atheism, there is no God and all. Sanskrit scholars could have cut that text and burnt it. They did not do. They documented it. Why? Because it's important that there is a question. There is a question and answer. That is what parampara is. Shishya questions, Guru answers. Guru questions, Shishya answers. That is how jnana is developed. So the parampara, even whether in the modern education system or the traditional education system, is a very important concept for us to transfer and transform the universe. Transfer the knowledge to transform the universe.
Okay. And my next question is, see, our education system is lost. I mean to say it is not completely lost, but in practical thing, we always send our children to modern education schools. But this is important to bring back our education system in current scenario. How we can bring back our education system back?
Uh, गच्छन् पिपीलिका याति योजनानां शतैरपि न गच्छन् वैनतेयोऽपि पदग्मैकं न गच्छन्. It's the same story like the hare and the tortoise. Gachan pipilika yati. An ant that walks goes millions of miles, but a bird that flies can travel even much farther than an ant can travel. But if a bird plans to sit in the same place, it does not go anywhere. What is important is prayatna. Mahaprayatna varjitaha nara najagmurunnati. The one who does not have an effort will never attain success. If Arjuna was not active, the battle wouldn't have been won by the Pandavas. Krishna is there, Yogeshwara, but Parthaha Dhanurdharaha, the one who is ready to act. What is happening here is that there are millions of ways in which we can revive our classical knowledge. But what we do, many of us are active in the forum here or in the forum elsewhere, in the fora elsewhere. So what we do, we listen, after that we appreciate, we forget. That is not should be the case. We have to act. What we have to do? There are different ways of action. Karma yoga is not only one way of action. There are different ways of action. You people are doing a different way of action. But there has to be an action. That is why Arjuna was running away. Krishna pulled him to the battlefield and told you fight. That is not only killing the people. That's not the battle that Krishna is speaking. That's why even Mahatma Gandhi, who is an ardent advocate of peace, but appreciated Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, as many think, it's a warmongering text. Not at all. It is a peace-mongering text. Action is important. How do we revive it? One, we start today. Whatever, nale endavana mane haadu. Whatever we keep it for tomorrow is never going to happen. Now, Chanakya says, abandhyam divasam kurya danadhyena karmabhihi. Now, at this moment, we have to make an oath, a pramana, that today onward, like Chanakya said, at least we read maybe a paragraph, a page. The moment we start this action, see, I started reading Bhagavad Gita in 2003 after attending Dhananjay Govindacharya, who is no more, regional scholar from Udupi, a great Kannada and Sanskrit scholar. Till 2008, I read. After that, here and there, I am reading Bhagavad Gita. In these 5 years, what I understood Bhagavad Gita, every day I read it, I get a different meaning. Every time I read a different scholar, I get a different meaning. So much is there in one text. Imagine the entire Veda. How much will be there? How do we revive? By action, by getting into it. If I want to swim, I can't stand here and then say I swam. If I have to swim, I have to fall. Like Hanuman, if he wanted to search Sita, he had to jump. We have to act. How do we act? We take help of those who already know. If I want to, if my phone is not working, I take the help of service. If my knowledge is not working, I take the help of scholarly service. So we have to identify people who teach Shastras and go to them. And how we are to go. Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita first chapter, he was like, this happens, that happens, I don't want to fight and all. He did big, big things. Krishna spoke only 2 words. Bhagavad Gita did not come. Then after that, Arjuna said, I am confused. You give me knowledge. Then Krishna told the Bhagavad Gita. So if we go with all pride, Guru will not give us knowledge. The people who, even a school teacher will not give us knowledge. Then we have to go with humility, intellectual humility, that we have a lot to do. Then Krishna, like Krishna gave knowledge, Bhagavad Gita we got, Vedanta we got, we will get. This is the path of wisdom. On the pursuit of wisdom means with intellectual humility we have to take up. That action has to happen today by identifying scholars, reading a lot. That is the only way. Like Upanishad Vedanta says, Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pravaditavyam. Self-study, Swadhyaya. Pravachana, teaching others. There is no other path, and that has to happen. This is the worship that Vedanta has said. Worship does not mean temple worship. Worship means Sopasana cha Dvivida Shastrabhyasa Swarupini. Shastrabhyasa is the worship. That we have to start.
Yeah.
Thank.
One more question, Gopi. I have a lot of questions. For time conservation, one last question. Can I?
I think, please go ahead. I think.
Go ahead. Srinath, just go ahead and finish. Let this be the last question.
I think
Yeah,
let's make
okay.
it short also.
Yeah, sure. See, as what will be the role of temple? What should be the role of temple in our Sanatana Dharma?
Again, it's very difficult to answer because it's a very big question. See, in I have traveled Europe. If a king has touched a stone or kept a stone, they will, in Italy and all, they will say this was kept in this era 2000 years ago by this king and all like that. I'm just giving a rough example, okay? But in India, if I want to see an old palace, it's very difficult to see. Whatever way of life a ruler has lived, we cannot see. What the ruler rather has done, they have kept temples, not palaces like in the West. They have built a temple in that grandeur. Why? Temple is a public space, palace is a private space. I am taking the public money and I can't live a luxurious life. The public has to be benefited. These temples were not only places of worship. These temples where all communities gather. There used to be fairs. Now all these utsavas and all, today people go to shopping malls. But in those times, they used to go around the temple. There was a car street for the people to come together. Temple was the, today we have assembly halls. In those times it was temple because it was built by the king. See, who does not like to go to a best place that is built by the ruler themselves? Marriage, all the public events, even education, Gurukula, school was the temple. The role of the temple was not only religious role. That is why even today those temples have stood. And the way they have built the temple, the scientific, architectural knowledge that they had, it can withstand natural disasters, Kedarnath, Tiruchendur, and the entire village is a temple. Angkor Wat, Srirangam, Tiruvananthapuram, Kumbakonam, now Khajuraho, and even there is nothing bad or disgusting. Even what we consider intimate, they use the sculptures, Halebeedu, Beluru, all the sculptures to teach us how should we live a life in a city in a house. This is the role of the temple. They taught through the sculptures, the narratives. I can't read Mahabharata, I'm uneducated. Go to temple, everything is sculpted around. So it was the place of education. It was the place for public. That is why the royal kings, we do not remember who built the temple, because many of these temples, the Indians are very bad at historians. Even if someone considers it as an offense, I don't have an offense. Because why we are bad at history? Because we don't want to remember people. We want to remember thought. Wisdom is more important. We do not remember rulers. We remember Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. We remember those who give knowledge. That is very important. And that is why these people like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, they did not go to palace. We don't know whether they went to palace or not. They went to temple. And we still know where all Ramanujacharya have gone. The point is, temple is the public space. Temple is the space for everyone, irrespective of caste, irrespective of creed, irrespective of age, gender. It is the place for everyone. And it has to bring the universal harmony, foster the universal peace. That is the role of the temple, like Vamana story says.
Thank you, Acharya.
I think Gopiji, we should end the program.
I think I have few questions. I'll wind it up. I think I don't want to. The time is already over, so I think I'll pass it on. So let me end this session on behalf of
Okay,
VHS
Gopi,
Karnataka.
can I come
What
in
is
for
it?
a minute? Can I
Yes,
come in for a
please.
minute?
Yes, please.
Srinivas ji, on behalf of Karnataka VHS, though Gopi will give you the thing, I would say this is one of the most passionate and most energetic program that I have seen on VHS. I really thank
Thank
you
you.
for that. I think
Yeah,
you
I want
really
to say
spoke
this.
with passion and real with energy. I mean, I think I never seen this energy anywhere with any of our speakers till date, but I think you really spoke it because it came out from your heart. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Srinivas ji. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
then
just
you.
want to extend my gratitude for you all who gave this opportunity. And Mr. Gopi, Sri Gopi ji has been behind me. He was so keen, so enthusiastic. I want to know what all the topics you are going to speak. Are you ready? So I was shopping for tomorrow's festival, but he was like, "What are you? Are you ready?" This passion drove me, and also my Guruji, Pejavar Swamiji, who throughout his life, until he lived for 89 years, throughout his life, and all the Indian uh, wise people whose life, whose biography we read, their life has taught us, Rama's life has taught us, Krishna's life has taught us that we can't be idle. So because of their grace, that hope my lecture has been, by their blessings has been, you could appreciate it, and I'm really happy and grateful to you for your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. And on behalf of VHS Karnataka, I thank Acharya Srinivas Kumar Ji for accepting the request. I mean, like initially it was like somebody else, but finally it has come to you and like you accepted it. For thank you for that and enlightening us on Vedanta. I think it's really one of the best sessions, as Nikunji has said. About to say the same thing, but Nikunji has already said that on this Samvada. And thank you, Acharya Ji, for that. And from VHS Karnataka, thank you for that. And thank you, Jagdish ji. Thank you, Nikunji. Thank you, Srina ji. And thank you, Tejas ji, Ishwar ji, and Rakesh ji. Thank you all. And last but not least, thank you all the wonderful viewers for making this Samvada success. Stay safe. Please do visit vhs.india.org for further amazing online sessions of VHS Samvada. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
Thank you.